Well, hey guys. So I'm working on the floorboard tunnel, the transmission tunnel. Daggone lights always in the way. So I'll show you some of the pieces I've already chopped out. So some of these, I don't know, they've got that secondary plate underneath of them. I'm not sure what exactly that was for. Sure, some type of floor support for a 4-cylinder truck. No idea what would need extra support. There's a piece that I had formed before into the new piece I made into the original floorboard. Same thing with this. So, just an ugly piece. I used actually that piece of wood there, cut it out to the shapes that I needed, pounded the metal around it. It didn't come out the prettiest, but by the time you cover it up with something, you never see it, so it didn't matter. So I've got all my seams filled with seam sealer. You can see how bubbly my hammering work was. I'm trying to do it better this time. No guarantees. So this piece was over here on this side. This piece was over here. That's a piece I just cut out today. Another chunk there. Show you what I got going on here though. Looks nice and pretty. Assume I can set the camera in here. Alright, yep. So, a piece I had just cut out today. This here was right up in here. And get close enough so you can see it. It stopped right here where this weld here is. It's originally going to come from here and bend it out and down, but then trying to come up, bend here and there. It's just for myself. I'm not a professional bodywork person, so once I cut this piece out, I was still just going to splice it into sections and weld it around, and maybe come around more like this. But then after I had it laying here, I was thinking, since the part of the transmission behind the shifter still has that big old like knobby piece, I can show it to you here in a minute. By removing this much and not having it come down here any, and by having it just come straight out, since I already had this piece cut, I was like, well, if it just come right down, I can, once I get this finished welding, I can double check the back side. I can double weld it on the back side too. I can grind this down, sand it and everything, and then that'll still be a decently smooth hump. So I decided to go with. If it turns out as pretty as what it does in my mind, or even somewhat close to it, I'll be happy with that. So there was a piece along with that where this came out, because this was originally just all straight over, and then this all came right down, and then the tunnel was only this high. So I had to form all this into it. Same thing on the other side. You can see how not smooth some of that is. So So from where the shifter on the transmission, where it has a secondary location here, back here instead of where my current shifter was, it was all raised up, so I'd raise that up, and that's actually turned out pretty good. I like it. I did test fit it. Looks like I will have clearance, not a ton, but clearance is clearance. You don't have to have a ton, as long as it don't hit when you're going down the road. So like I said, I chopped that bit out, and this will actually give me a little more clearance for if I ever have to pull the transmission back out. I can bring it back a little bit further, even though right now, just the way it was, pulling the transmission itself out of the bell housing, I did have room. So, but this will give me a little more clearance. I want to say the drive shaft universal will be sitting right in this area, so I will try to do some type of reinforcement or something here. I'm going to take, and yeah, you can see it. So where this floor brace goes across, it used to go up over where the original tunnel was. It was still there. I cut it out for this bit of work, and I do plan on tying this back into this. Whether or not I take it all the way up and over, I doubt. This extra amount here should suffice on that, but I am going to take and tie it in on the all the way around here on both sides. So get over here to the transmission. So I zoomed in. So this is the original transmission that was in it. Shifter location here. Transmission, just took a dive here. The T56 shifter location is up here, which is the same spot as this one. But it's got this rear shifter location that comes all the way back to here. And then that's that nub I was talking about. And that also sticks out, but it goes down just a little bit. Plus, when I get the block off plate mounted on here, and yes, I did check my clearance for that. So once I get the block off plate on here, this will be probably a good 1/4 incher. It's probably an 1/8 inch now. I think the block off plate is just steel. It's not a nice thick aluminum piece to match the transmission. So, and if it does end up being, then that's fine too. If not, then kind of stupid. But like I said, this here goes straight out. I needed more transmission tunnel clearance. If you're doing a T56 Magnum swap, whether it's a Camaro, Firebird, I guess I don't make Firebirds anymore. The F body, I guess they call them, Camaros and stuff, Chevrolets, mid to late 90s and up. And I believe the newer Mustangs possibly have a T56. And this one here is an aftermarket T56. So differences on those. So your aftermarket is this, not sure what they call it. I'm going to call it a front plate, torque plate, whatever it may be. So it's got a different bolt pattern. Don't know if you can take and buy one of these separately that will fit the regular stock T56 or not, but you would need to buy an aftermarket T56 if not, to get this front plate. That way everything works. Ford and Chevy, Ford versus Chevy, the input shaft is different, got different splines. So this is the Viper style T56 GM, same thing. So your input shaft right here into the crank. I do got to get a different pilot bearing for that. So this one here is thinner than this one here. So the diameter is not as big. So that's the front of the two. That's the old one. That's the t56 that's going to go in. Got the bell housing and stuff already in. So it's been below freezing, negative temperatures. Can't just say below freezing, because some people are just like, oh, it's below freezing here all the time. But yeah, we got almost a foot of snow. Haven't been able to do much out here without heat in the garage, and when I get off of work in the afternoon, for me to come out here and put heat in the garage, it can take 2 or 3 hours to heat up the garage. Big old crack or gap in the front door. You got ceiling tile like that coming off. It can take 2 or 3 hours to get it not decently warmed up in here to where you're not freezing. So as you can see, there's no steam coming out of my breath from coldness. So I've had the furnace going for 4 hours or so probably. I've got it warmed up in here enough to where I can just wear my overalls and thing on my head, keep me nice and toasty enough, and so I can work. So if you are doing something, before I get too carried away and just start yammering on, and you're trying to get a piece of material to fit your hole and get all the angles and stuff, you're going to take a piece of tape, preferably one that wants to stick. You don't have to stick real tight. Yeah. I got an old roll of tape. I should probably put it in the microwave for 15-20 seconds, warm it up so I can work with it. I didn't realize I had this one. I went out and bought a brand new roll. And then I seen this one. I'm not a fan of wasting stuff, so I grabbed it. A roll of tape here. So I may have to just throw this idea out the window. I'm trying to get this on camera. My knife is not in front of me. Piece of tape stuck to my finger. This way you don't see a whole lot of people posting videos like this on the YouTube. This is what we call the non-interesting videos nobody likes to watch. At least get where you can see what I'm doing, trying to accomplish, by being defeated by a piece of tape or a roll of tape. Yeah, didn't have this issue the other day. There we go. So, well, that didn't work as I had planned. So I can tear it off a little bit shorter than that, enough to where it was sticking up. Alright, there we go. So, get yourself some tape. I know there's other videos of people doing this out there. And a bit of a wonky piece. Saved it. Alright. Saved it like a pro. So we'll just use that down here. Oh, hard on my back. Got some stuff in here. Alright. This tape's probably been in the garage since I did the other part of the tunnel. Trying to get everything to work off of it. Cutting metal, whatever else. This isn't a perfect solution. It will get you close enough. What I do is always cut bigger than what you need. If you get it just right, so you'll see it's folding over that. Anyways, if you get it just right, or right enough, you can cut your tape, rub the edges like you're rubbing a lamp that you're trying to get the genie to come out of to grant you 3 wishes. And you can get a trace of where your edges are. Should probably be wearing gloves for all the metal shrapnel from where I've been cutting things. Take a screwdriver, dirty glove, whatever you may want to use. Rub around your edges. Don't get it too tight. Find where that is. You get lucky, you can just get your fingernail in the right spot. If you got long nails. I don't. It's not working too great. But you can take and this is turning out terrible. But if you take and rub the edge here, you get that tape to come apart. Right up the edge. You'll get the rough idea on what I'm doing. It'll come apart, and then you'll get a rough idea on the shape, size, whatever you need. Works for video purposes. Ain't gotta be pretty or perfect. Like I said, cut it bigger than what you need. Lay it down on your piece of material. And then if it's cold outside, it'll give you a little something extra to throw on the fireplace. So, the piece I'm going to use for it is one I was trying to use for my first intentions. I think that is not long enough. So, got this piece here. Get there. So this already has some angle in it. I'll just have to cut up here and then right there. When I cut here, I'll just go all the way out and then cut here, and then I'll just trim it up as I need when I put it in. I'll make the video longer than what I intend to. Don't mean to. It just turns out that way. So, if this may have helped you, may have not. If you just wanted to see what I was doing, thank you for watching. This was that. We'll see you next time. Bye.